Hey, good afternoon. I had a good day's work today. At least keeps the wolf away from the door. I like to do a part 4 on these shelter logic systems, and I have the one for the yurt design. I have those already done, and so this could actually be used in tandem with the 24-foot yurt being the centerpiece. And if you had a hexagonal walkway around it, you could actually join 5 of these shelter logic systems to it. And I want to draw it out so you guys be able to see. So my plans are to do the paperwork on it and just the rough dimensions of it, the different parts that's going to take, and to make it, to put it together into a professional package. And once that's done, then I think I'd like to contact the churches in Seattle, Portland, maybe Southern California, maybe through Facebook, or trying to find internet address that I could send it to. We are coming down to the wire, because when the big one happens, it'd be a wake-up call. It's going to usher in revival. God's going to bring in the harvest on the west coast, and then the hammer's going to fall, and the west coast is going to be no more. So I don't know the time frame on that. I'm just guessing around the time of the 7th seal, which should be around the 20th of May 2021. That's when the 7th seal comes. So that could be the time of the 7 open visions that the Lord gave me. So I know we have at least that time, a good 18 months to prepare. And so we do need a wake-up call. Where I'm sitting here in Abbotsford, they had visions of this city being flooded with ocean water, from a surge from a tidal wave. And I know when the big one happens on the west coast, the water is going to come up the Fraser, and it's going to bury this place. Back in 1948, they made a series of dikes. This place used to be a lake at one time, and I believe that the judgment for this area is that God's going to overrun the dikes, and He's going to put a big dent in people's pocketbooks here. Most of the farmland, it's berry crops and turkey farms and chicken farms and things like that, and He's going to bring all that to an end. And otherwise, the people, they just don't listen. I've been warning the people here since 1993, and they just, they don't get it. So God's going to have to bring the hammer of judgment down here and shake people up so they can start preparing. Because when the big one does take place, whatever that be, 8.6, 8.7, I don't think we're going to see a 9 point. There's going to be a lot of collateral damage. You're going to see 100,000 people in Seattle with no place to stay. And that's the reason why I'm designing these camps, these shelter logic camps, along with the yurt camp. You can actually merge the two concepts together, and it'll work perfect. But we're going to have to do something just to sit back and wait for the judgment to come. That's really being very foolish. And you're walking in unbelief. The people of Noah's day, like Noah, his family was spared because Noah believed that judgment was coming, and he believed God, and he built an ark, right? And the people of his day, well, they didn't make it. And the same thing today. The majority of the people here in the West Coast, when it comes down to the end, they're not going to make it in. They're going to die here, because they don't take the word of the Lord seriously, and that's what they pay. They pay because of their foolishness and unbelief, they're going to pay with their lives. But through it all, there is going to be a remnant that is going to believe. And so that's why I've decided to work with the churches. Once I get this paperwork done on the shelter logic system, to work with the churches in Seattle and Portland and other places that God will put on my path. But we need to take action. To wait into the last moment, that's being not being very wise, right? Anyway, so I have a few free days here, so I'll be able to put a package together. I'll do the layout and do the specs on the shelter logic system. I like to use the 28-foot shelter logic. The 12 by 28 by 13 high. That's put out by Canadian Tire. They might have other units like that in the States, but for between $5,000 to $7,000, you could actually make a shelter system that would pack onto a Scamper Camper unit. You need it has to be rated for at least 6,500 pounds, and you can set up your unit. You're off the ground. You got belly storage. You have belly storage for food, for your battery bank. You got solar panels on top. You can easily insulate the inside and put a little bit of a yurt skirting on the walls. You can make it quite comfortable. And in the times you're coming into, what happens when you get 100,000 people in the Seattle area? All of a sudden they got no place to stay, right? And so you need something that's off the ground, that's going to be able to take a little bit of a shaking, and you're off the ground because of the, you might get water, things like that, storms. So you have to design it for all this, but have something that's simple and practical and affordable. That's what I'm looking to do, right? And so it gave me a couple days, and I'll have something put together that I can actually send it off as a PDF file. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, on the shelter logic systems. Folks, we need to prepare. Like the wise virgins, they will prepare, and the foolish virgins, well, they'll wait to the last minute, and that's going to be too late for them. So learn to become to be a wise virgin, and let's come together and do what we can, and put our heads together, to come together in the spirit of unity, and let's make something for. I'd like to see these shelter logic systems come into reality. Okay, I'm going to end it here.